Alice are going to be really good.
Ooh.
Oh, they go for the Bruno. Okay. They get the glue, so Bruno counters Claude in lane.
Ole.
While glue is just the tempo breaker that ONIC PH needed a little bit more of in their team fight.
Glue's enough to like be a distraction too in that front line. Go ahead and soak up if they need to. But also the Bruno tends to be what we've talked about a lot, being that counter pick into the Claude. We saw that work wonders in the regular season for the teams that decided to go for it. So they have a ton of damage for ONIC, and oh, there's the answer, Edward. He's gonna pull out the Benedetta. I've liked that we get to see all this on the global level, but now let's focus in on this as we jump into the Land of Dawn and our battle, the international rivalry, the last one we'll see of Season 17.
Day one already feels like a grand finals. Of course, Super Friends would want to pull yourself together as the Gord needs faster access to that flicker. Aggressive trades in the mid, as expected. The Khalid and Valentina together. Mid prio gonna determine a lot of the early wins. River control, very important for these two. Now with Glue going to ONIC, they have a slightly slower lineup. That's what Aurora's invading.
Oh, forcing a flicker out of Brusco. And ONIC Philippines are on the receiving end of an orange gambit themselves.
That projectile saved a life right there. That little stun kept them alive, but good thing. But they're showing aggression here in the early game already.
Who is this team? What a jump by Light and Demon Kite. They draw first blood.
He just paid for it.
A lot of growth by Aurora here. They know their Benedetta is faster than this Glue. Again, that's why they invaded Orange. They continue to invade.
Brusco running through three, stopping the invasion, but Demon Kite wants it. He's hungry. Do you want it? Do you want it? And he gets it.
Oh.
And they jump him. King Kong punishes the celebrity. And Light eats up one. Oh, fair enough. King Kong actually secured.
Yeah,
without a retribution.
Yeah, he secured his own purple buff. He went in there with the space escape. Demon Kite falls. So ONIC get to defend the aggression of RORA early. They lost their orange, but in the long run, ONIC actually won that long sequence.
Yeah, it's RORA doing things differently.
It's not how you start, it's how you end.
Yes.
And that early sequence, as Remar said, goes to the super fam. First turtle though, who's gonna take it?
First turtle being up here. Both teams have some crucial level 4s. That was Yue taking the Mystic Gush, so he's got that for this fight. They're gonna go ahead and start this turtle up, but Brusco will hold it here.
ONIC can't rush it right now. Brusco doesn't have Golden Hour, Light not yet level 4 just yet. Kirk does have his mount if he wants it.
Get half health on the turtle. They're gonna go for this.
Holding it, they take Light down! Getting the mount and everything thrown at him. King Kong looking for that angle, but DK will secure. Turtle 1 goes to the Northern Lights.
Worthy sacrifice by Light. I'm sure he just wanted to get vision, but with him going down and ONIC committing a lot of their abilities, wait.
Dominic Kite up top. He's feeling himself, forcing Savero back.
Multiple times in the season, Savero has had Dominic Kite's number in the gold lane with their little duels, but with the very first big trade, it's Dominic Kite who goes out on top.
But for longtime fans of Dominic Del Mundo, aka Dominic Kite, they know that the strength of this jungler is, rather this gold laner, is in the laning phase.
Yeah.
So if there's any time Dominic Kite will win against Savero, it's in the first 5 minutes.
It's going to be a great series just already with these first 3 minutes of game 1. They have some time to go ahead and settle in, and now with a heck of a start for Aurora being on the more aggressive side, that could be enough to go ahead and start to set things in their favor. But one thing they do have to go ahead and take note of is, again, King Kong, despite all the pressure, it's pretty much fine. And that's going to be the case with a Harley like this. So and I'm wondering, where do they find these little openings? Where do they find these little windows of opportunity for them? Also, because you have Brusco on the Marcel, so when you think you want to start with tempo, Marcel can be enough to kind of stop that from happening.
Yeah, so Aurora have information that Savero is close to a minute away from getting his flicker back. He's at 50 and counting, less than. And so that's why Aurora would commit a rotation from Light to go Gold Crab so that Dominic Kite would be able to take it. Because they know that Savero cannot play risky and try to take it away. There's a cut by Demon Kite behind Savero.
Does Savero know the pressure? Ill intent from the Northern Lights. 4 now. Dominic Kite with a blazing duet. And here comes the save. Golden Hour. Stolen. Gosh, where does it go? And it seems like they flubbed it. The jump, the flicker, the dive. Savero lives.
Oh my God, Light. He's going to be the one to get punished. What a counter play from ONIC.
They went too deep. They went too deep.
Brusco with the the save! Aurora trying to take a page from ONIC's book with all this aggression, but it takes just a nice little platinum snap to snap Aurora out of their comfort.
Oh man, that's exactly what I was saying. You know, you want to set the tempo. Well, there's a Marcel across from you, and you saw how much value a perfectly timed golden hour can give to your team. And look at this, though. There is going to be a bit of a trade. Edward will grab some extra gold off that bottom side.
They want to do it again. Dominicite, BMI through. Brusco again to the rescue, forcing a defensive Rampaging Sandstorm. Oh my lord, the long con by ONIC. When everyone thought they were experimenting with an import, here they were using him as bait. Oh! Gosh, on the light, he might fall once more. Bulls in his face. Severo can't finish the job.
Aurora will be able to get away, but ONIC, this is why they like the glue. It loses in the big overall rotations compared to the Benedetta, but when it comes to the fighting, it's kind of awkward for the Gwyn, kind of awkward for the Claude, even for the Benedetta, because of all that tempo breaking. And that's just the Marcel we've seen most of it. We haven't seen Kirk for a lot of these big sequences. When it gets to that, Aurora might have some difficulty.
Yeah, they're already having a little bit of difficulty in trying to deal with focusing on Severo, because Brusco's just been so well protecting him and staying on that side of the map if he has to, and that's one of the benefits of being able to travel fast as well.
Again, that's just the Marcel.
Another one! Demon Kite barely gets away by the skin of his teeth.
Okay, he stays alive. Surprised at how many beams we're seeing not convert into kills, but they are knocking down turrets. That's what they're going for.
Hey, technical knockouts are still knockouts.
Yeah, that's
it
true.
leads to Demon Kite not being present. And the only real place that RORA can breathe is where Edward is.
Yeah. He has to open up the map here. That allows a few more avenues for RORA, but until Aurora gets the tower in mid, all the side lane pushes might not be that beneficial to them. ONIC handle the long lanes and far lanes very well. They have had fantastic macro this season, and they're willing to give it up if they know they get a big objective, if they know they get Turtle 3, if they know they get Lord 1.
Yeah, this Turtle's going to be up. Last one of the game here, pulled through. Edward's going to join this one. It looks like after he clears mid. He's got a blade of Hepsies too, so depending on where he puts his Petrify, like the final blow, he's going to be pumping out damage.
And there they come, Golden Hour stopping the action, and a stolen one by Yue. The fight has broken out all the way back, and Bruce Defoe, Requiem by Demon Kite finding Kurt, and this has split up the Super Fam. And just like that, RORA gather back, and King Kong running away. Yue, down goes King Kong. They go for the turtle. RORA scores the final one.
Terrific counter by Aurora. ONIC tried to salvage that by sending Severo and Super Prince in the mid, but since Edward was there, they couldn't cover. I was a little bit wary of that fight for ONIC heading into that, because Kirk was in the mid trying to clear lane. It seems like they weren't talking with each other. If Brusco and Kirk were a little bit more connected and you had the glue messing up the backline of RORA, it wouldn't have gone that way. Since the glue was slightly out of position and out of time, ONIC just got run over by RORA. Great golden hour as well by Yue.
Benefit of the doubt. I myself am an advocate of Kirk. Maybe he was playing man-to-man defense with Edward. Maybe that was the wrong call. Maybe you shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, because Edward's going to be hard to man-to-man defense against, you know, just because of how much he can maneuver around the fight.
Best case scenario, what do you get? You mount the Benedetta?
Yeah.
And then what?
The Benedetta takes you for a ride away from your team.
Yeah, RORA gets to do whatever they want anyways.
Yeah.
I know ONIC were thinking about the chance of RORA getting a big team fight win and then getting their tower pushed in mid. But at that point, with Super Prince and Severo able to get away from that, they were all right.
Oh, look at the damage being burnt down onto Severo. ONIC, just like that, suddenly struggled to play proactively against Aurora. They're up 2,000 gold. Dominicite getting this push up top, and the map suddenly turns red.
Oh, he got an easy push on that tier 2 top turret. Dominicite bringing that down, and you know, you're thinking here for ONIC. Oh,
Requiem, beautiful catch. This is defensive use of the golden hour. The answer as well, stopping them from pushing forward. Light, barely alive, gets taken down by a rogue projection coming from Prince.
The Worldie came out in time as well. Super Prince, his first initial Mystic Gush was actually diminished by Yue, but the golden hour by Brusco to follow up after Yue's golden hour is what put RORA in a better spot for ONIC to at least get a kill onto Light. river control and mid control. Still for ONIC, heading into Lord 1. Edward will push the side lanes, while ONIC will have to manage that one up top. In terms of the gold, big lead for Dominkite compared to Severo. But Severo isn't that poor in terms of the resources. He's getting his items on the way to a Malefic gun.
Yeah, he's got that. Not only that, but he's also got a situation where, you know, he's got his 2 items. They're going to have to fight for this Lord here. It's at half health on this point. It looks like they're blitzing it.
Yeah, because Brusco has no golden hour. Super Fam, respond. Aurora jumping in. Dominkite with the blazing duet. And the golden hour stopping it all. And they do find the Lord. Dominkite was working hard on it. Mr. Consistent finds one down. Goes the pressure. And they get Kirk. Kirk very low. Kirk surviving, but just barely. As Aurora take everything.
Requiem knockup just in time by RORA. And ONIC, since they picked up the Marcel and gave away the Valentina, the snapshots, the golden hours have been better for RORA.
Yep, they've been really great. Yue as well, deciding on what ultimates to take here. He's been so good and efficient on the ultimate choice, but even just utilizing the Terrify that comes with this with the Valentina, man. I mean, there's so many ways for RORA to go ahead and play around these team fights, and that's what's happening here. So this Lord is up. They're going to go ahead and try to push into the base, get some of these shields down, and then potentially the health of the turrets. Tier 2 in the mid will fall up to this point. Lord being worked on very quickly by Severo. He clears that out, but the mid shield will fall.
Bottom lane, Edward has Severo taking so much damage. Blasted him. Yue from range. Super Prince defensive use of the gush, pushing back the Northern Lights. Aurora are just all over them. Bottom lane taken down. All work from Edward.
Well, this is why we were posting the possibility of a surprise Valentina pick first for ONIC. But they were willing to give the golden hour to Aurora, and they've made the most out of it. Even better because they have the utility jungler.
And now Brusco forcing out a Requiem from Dominkite. Will not stop the rest of the waves though. Golden hour will at least keep that inhibitor alive. ONIC are just keeping their heads barely above water.
Yep, flicker used as well by Dominkite, but so far Aurora in the driver's seat throughout this one for the past few minutes. You got to start to see what ONIC can do here. Can they actually utilize this Bruno pick? You saw how fast he got blasted though, and that's a problem because when you don't have that range and it's that hard to get into a fight, again, you don't have that many escapes to get away. That's why he does get the Malefic gun. He's got a little bit more range to work with. But man, the positioning on Severo, if we talked about his mechanics, his micro skills throughout the season, this game 1 is a true test for them.
Dominkite, of course, in that last few big team fights ago, beautiful entry with a blazing duet. Has had a better time farming compared to Severo. So far, the gold per minute for Severo is just floating around 580. Dominkite is at 710 plus. It's been a much better time for this Claude in terms of getting the resources. And it wasn't just because Aurora were also getting big wins as a team. Gotta acknowledge, Dominkite beat Severo in lane for this game number 1.
Yeah, even looking at this, Flight providing so much information throughout this game. That's again why the Khalid is such a big top priority pick in the roam right now. Not only that, but you know, even if you take a couple shots, you can just heal back up. And so they kind of just take some time, wait for this Lord coming up in a couple seconds here, taking a last look at the items. ONIC, if they want to, they can try to contest into this, but will they just get decimated through a team fight?
Likely yes. It hurts that they don't have an actual peel. Their lineup doesn't revel in, you know, free hits from Prince, free hits from Severo. They have to get crafty with it. And Aurora, look at Edward. He's built 3 swords plus the wings.
And this is why the Benedetta pick was really good. If this was a different EXP laner, Kirk would be much happier here. But the Benedetta changes the big picture of team fights for ONIC. Again, they have a utility jungler, they have a Khalid, they have their own golden hour.
Oh, they see that King Kong's down on the bottom side. They're going to blitz this Lord. ONIC might have just decided, you know what, let's just give it up for that Lord secured here for Aurora. They're better off defending in their base, it looks like. And that could just be the case here for ONIC. If they really want to get this game under control, get it back in their favor, they've got to have a miracle defense. And that can happen, honestly, with a Marcel on your side, too. That can actually happen. Marcel, Gord can clear these waves pretty well. So this might not be a game-winning Lord push just yet for Aurora, despite being up this much.
Playing the map, the pressure. I think Aurora they can get the base balled here for ONIC, take away all the base turrets, throw bodies. Dominkite has to survive though. Edward as well. Maybe Edward could be one of your sacrifices, but Dominkite needs to survive this push.
Yep, Lord's gonna push in and take down that mid turret while they focus here on this bottom side. Oh, Edward. Oh, light.
Looking for it. The deep cut by Mr. Consistent. Golden Hour. Stopping the exit, but really not much there. Another one helping delay the gush. Going through a lot of members of Aurora, but Kirk is fallen. Light picks him off. King Kong goes for the trade. And I think Aurora are happy with a 2-lane push, but it looks like top lane and bottom lane will get taken care of too, just mid falls.
Yeah, as I was saying, part of the key to this defense is that Gord and the Marcel. We'll see if they still hold on to the turrets. It looks like Rora
pulls the trigger, but I think they know that this is a little too fishy.
Yeah. Well, that was actually a smart play by Dominkite. I think his condition there was the moment he saw that Deadly Magic was used on the Valentina. That's why he decided to BMI in, because he knows he can afford to be a little bit aggressive and survive, because nothing's going to delete him instantly. He has his own way to lifesteal and spell vamp as well through the Clods, the basic attacks, the Blazing Duets. So that was just a smart little decision and gave Aurora the space to actually get away from that.
Yep, and looking at these... The itemization here too, I think Kirk, big factor. Wait, conceal is used. Light's just pushing Brusco out, but I want to control this side of the map. Again, defensively, just needs a little bit more to be beefier. But even then, if Kirk has the items and he's like beefy enough to withstand a lot of that front-loaded damage, the problem is still keeping tabs on Edward, keeping tabs on what UA decides to do, and even Dominkite. So ONIC has so many boxes that they need to check to win ultimately a team fight that turns it around in their favor.
You know that the Northern Lights are feeling it because they're starting to hunt.
Yeah.
They're looking for these brushes and flushing out rogue members of the Super Fam, which makes sense because look, they're protecting Savero like it's the first 2 minutes again.
Yeah, they have to, man. He is the key here for them to eventually... Again, it's pretty easy for ONIC to pick off 1 or 2 members, but to entirely win a team fight, that's where the work is going to come through, and where you really need Savero to stay alive for those.
Yeah, and it's going to be easier said than done, difficult, because of the Benedetta that is packing hella damage items. I believe the first time we saw Benedetta this season was against Aurora versus ONIC in week 2.
Yeah, week 2?
Yeah, Edward did use a Benedetta then. It did not win, but it's a completely different picture. Oh, it's a blitz by Aurora.
Oh, ONIC are trying to respond. Brusco here, Golden Hour,
Early.
delaying the Lord take, stuck at about 1/10 of its health. In comes Demonkite, looking for more. Dominkite forced to use the freeze on that Wintercraft, plus the Blazing Duet defensively. Lord will still be secured. They take out King Kong, and now the jump, the Requiem, the Clash, and Kirk falls, and they're not done. They're looking for more. Savero kicking bows, trying to stop him. Another knockup, down goes Brusco. And Savero holding on. Maybe I can, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. It's just him and Savero left for defense.
Early on the Golden Hour from Brusco. I think a little bit of a panic button. And then Aurora just decided to go for the jump. They saw King Kong first, found his hat. Brusco got taken down, or Kirk got taken down next, and then Brusco. Aurora looked to take game number 1.
Yep, they're going to be pushing in with this Lord. A little projectile thrown up, but it's only 2 guys of ONIC left.
And in comes the Electo final blow.
That's it.
They escort the Lord out of the base. Aurora draw first blood in San Juan Arena.